Let's turn our attention back here to the Goodmanson Sandhills Laboratory. Joining us now is Dr. David Augustine. He is with ARS-USDA, official title Rangeland Resources and Systems Researcher. He gave a presentation out here. You know, they wish there was a silver bullet to the question of stocking rates and the variability when it comes to cattle production. There's not. So that was your presentation to cattle producers today. High level, what's most important to share with our audience today about that?
I would say that there is no silver bullet for adjusting your stocking rates relative to the variability and how much rain you're going to get and how much forage you're going to produce. It's very difficult. A lot of the rain we get comes in the summer after we've tried to make stocking rate decisions. But we have found that incorporating yearlings into your operation, if you can have that flexibility that yearlings bring in that you can liquidate your herds more quickly or add new animals more quickly, then you can make adjustments during the growing season. And we've been trying to develop remote sensing products, particularly a remote sensing product that enables us to estimate the near real-time availability of forage on our experimental range in Colorado to help us make those decisions more quickly, especially for destocking, when to rapidly destock in a drought, but also when are we way above in forage and could we be bringing in more animals. So I think that's the biggest one. The other thing we've really high level that we've learned is that long range, 3-month climate outlooks or 3-month weather forecasts are still very, very difficult to make, especially when you're in April and trying to make a decision for what's going to happen, say June or July.
I'm really curious about the sensing capabilities and the remote sensing. What kind of research have you done into that? What does that look like on the ranch?
So, well, first of all, I would say one of the things that's out there available to all ranchers across the entire Western Great Plains is something called the Rangeline Analysis platform, which helps to estimate the forage production that you're going to get on your ranch during the current growing season. One of the challenges, though, is knowing how much do you have right now, what's your standing biomass at any given time in different pastures. So the product we've developed uses the harmonized Landsat Sentinel data to predict standing biomass on the experimental range where I work in Colorado. Now, we haven't expanded that calibration to the whole Western Great Plains, but having both those products, how much grass was produced, but also how much do we have available right now on the ground given what the cattle or other wild herbivores have eaten, having that to help make decisions is really helpful if you're going to try to be flexing your stocking rates. So we're working on expanding those calibrations to other locations like the Sandhills.
Seems like on this topic, you've been doing research for several years, able to look at that and try to tweak things year to year. I guess what has worked well? You mentioned a 20% figure increasing stocking rates from, say, 20 years ago, I suppose, or how long ago was that?
Right. Well, we started an adaptive rangeland management experiment 10 years ago in Northeast Colorado. And we started that out at a fairly, what we would consider a recommended moderate stocking rate. But over time, we've learned that we were able to increase that stocking rate about 20% and still maintain our cattle gains at levels we wanted. This is working with yearling steer operation. And that level seems to work. We've also, through some trial and error as well as analysis, found a level of stocking where we're just not getting the cattle weight gains we want. And so about 20% above the moderate is where we've landed within that particular experiment.
I have to imagine when this conversation and your research boils down to it, having a plan going into the year, maybe a drought plan, so to speak, when that does strike, we know it comes every once in a while anyways, is perhaps one of the key factors here. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's where, having a drought management plan with some triggers in it as to when you're going to make decisions is very important. But you also have to have knowledge of what your forage base is when you hit those triggers. So, but having a plan and then also knowing what you've got on your ranch, put those together can be very helpful for adjusting stocking rates.
I'm curious what else trips your mind of things that fascinate you on this topic that you'd like to continue to look into that would have an impact for Nebraska sandhill producers.
Oh, that's a great question. I think moving forward, there are some real opportunities to improve our use of technology in rangeland management. I think virtual fencing in combination with remote sensing advancements can make can really help with a lot of decision making, and also help with us being able to more adaptively move animals in space and time to match available forage.